going on there, guys? We back with another one today. We got to talk about Stephen A. Smith and JJ Redick some more, guys. Now, this was earlier in the week last week. I just didn't get a chance to touch on the topic as I wanted to, but there's a few things about LeBron James. And the first thing that Stephen A. and JJ spoke about is the GOAT conversation, right? And we know how divided the previous generation and this generation is on that GOAT debate. If you was around during a certain time, a great percentage is going to take Michael Jordan. And if you around during this time, a great percentage of people a certain age is going to take LeBron. Now, not saying that all is one way, but if you look at the vast majority, you take these polls and everything, right? The first thing they were talking about was if LeBron and the Lakers don't make the playoffs, is this a blemish on his legacy and everything? And Stephen A. was saying, it is because, he's with the Lakers and what's expected there, and he's playing with Anthony Davis. And JJ was like, well, is it a blemish on Jordan's Wizards years? And Stephen A. was saying that that's an entirely different thing. And, you could look at it several ways. Like, the players have more ability to move around now and get like LeBron got exactly the people that he wanted to put on his team. So that's why that expectation is still there to win. He went out, they were able to get AD. He wanted, like, the Russell Westbrook thing didn't work out, but that's who he wanted at the time. And so you got that. And Michael Jordan, he was promised some things when he came back after he played with the Wizards, like, you get this, this, and this after your playing days. They wanted him to go back down to play, and in return, he would have some things coming his way. But that deal faltered, and that's why that never came to fruition. But check out what they had to say about that.
What did it mean for LeBron to miss the playoffs again?
Well, I think it would be a stain to some degree.
And I'm going to ask you one question, Stephen A. You said the word stain, a stain on his career to some degree. Was Michael Jordan going 37 and 45 two straight seasons with the Wizards? Do we look back on that as some sort of stain on his career?
Whoa.
Do we?
Whoa.
I'm asking you, do we?
You can't. No. Well, no, I don't believe so. But here's the reason.
Okay, I don't either. I think we keep moving the goalposts, and you do it more than anybody else in terms of LeBron's career.
That's not true.
Yes, you
That's
do.
not true.
Yes, you
That's
do.
true, Jay.
No, it's because
I don't move the goalposts.
Stephen,
My goalposts
A,
are very
you do.
consistent.
Look. All of a sudden, this guy who hasn't taken time off, and had 10 finals run and played all Olympic teams, and now is in his 20th season and has he's 38 years old and is averaging 30 points a game. Like, all of a sudden, like, all right, we're just gonna change the standards for him.
We're
gonna change the standards for him. It's not a stain on his career, man, if they don't make the playoffs.
I've said the same thing for years.
Let me educate you for a second, Stephen A. This is important because this gets brought up all the time. I'm going to educate you for a second because I have a basic understanding of NBA rules. First of all, hand checking. You weren't allowed to do it in the scoring area. Secondly, illegal defense. How many times have we seen LeBron James isolated on the left wing and seen that secondary defender flood the box? It's called flooding the box and coming all the way across. That's illegal defense. In the NBA, in the 80s and 90s, you could not leave your man. So yes, there's more space now. There's also more help. You think about last night and watching him score, taking on two defenders every single time. And by the way, the Jordan rules, I get it, man. There was more physicality for sure. A lot of that was just harder fouls.
So you have JJ right there, making his points. And when it comes to the physicality of the game, I think it's clearly a lot less physical. That's why you're seeing a lot more scoring. I don't think the guys from this era sometimes make the right arguments. Like, for instance, if somebody says, Jordan's 6-6 in the finals, well, yeah, if I was somebody making an argument for this current era, I would say, like, yeah, but the Scottie Pippens from, like, that era, they get paid max contracts. So let me put it like this. Who is somebody that's so, like, yeah, like a Bradley Beal would make as much money as a LeBron James in this era. So it's gonna be hard to have star players of the same caliber, on the same team sometimes. Now, granted, LeBron got Anthony Davis, but I mean, as far as staying with one team and keeping that team continuity and having an organization coming in and year out knowing they're going to build around you for the duration of your career, I feel like that's more of an argument they could make, like with the contracts and stuff. Now, it's harder to keep that core together, Physically, it was just harder to score in that era. I don't know what JJ's trying to debate there. But also, another topic that was discussed, Stephen A talked to Brian Windhorst, and he talked about LeBron ruining the dunk contest. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on that, but I'm going to let you hear this first. Check it out.
But there is one blemish that should be on LeBron James' career. He has ruined the slam dunk contest. He is personally responsible. That's right, I'm saying it. LeBron James, who loves doing slam dunk shows on the layup lines, who didn't mind throwing down a few dunks yesterday, has never participated in the slam dunk contest. LeBron ignored that obligation. He said, no, I'm not doing it. And since he made that decision, we've seen year after year after year the dissipation of stars participating in the slam dunk contest.
So to me, guys, Stephen A. Smith has a terrific point right there, because thinking back on it, LeBron was the first prominent guy, and I'm talking about in terms of global, that had that ability, that's looked at as like an heir apparent type of guy. You had Michael Jordan, and then you had that little stretch where you was wondering, like Vince Carter, Kobe, T-Mac, all those guys was coming. But yeah, Kobe, he just took it. Kobe became that guy, and Kobe was in the dunk contest, and we clamored over that. Like we were very excited to see Kobe, throw down the dunks that he was able to put together. And it gave off that, he next type feeling, and not that his game didn't too. His game ultimately is the thing that got to speak, but just seeing that, and then, them being able to flash back to when Jordan did it, and then you go back and you compare their dunk contest, like, oh man, Kobe dunk right here was as good as Jordan. Oh, he tried to take off from the line like MJ. That used to be a cool metric. Not that it has nothing to do with the basketball being played on the court, but for those hyper athletic wings, it was almost like a rite of passage. You could just pencil in, they would give you one at least. If they hated doing the dunk contest, they would give you one. And I remember somebody said LeBron felt slighted about not being voted on the All-Star team his rookie year or something like that, and that's why he's never partaken in the dunk contest, which is, I feel like as far as the fans, especially when you're putting on dunking exhibitions in the crowd and everything, I felt like that's why now I feel like somebody like KD, it's a little interesting because he's 7 feet and KD can jump, don't get it wrong, but I don't know if we look at him as a creative dunker, but I would have liked to see a dunk contest with KD and LeBron when they had their youngest legs, trying to give us, the best dunks they could pull off, and just see who win, but specifically LeBron, because if you think about it, when you go through eras, I mean, a lot of people like to skip over Kobe now, but you would say Michael Jordan era, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. When you think about wings, now I ain't including the Tim Duncans and all those type of players, but you would look at it in eras like that, that was during the Kobe era, that was during the LeBron era, that was during the MJ era. And for him not to participate in the dunk contest, I feel like it's birthed this new athlete like Ja Morant. He know that people want to see him in a dunk contest to see what he can do. As great as Mac McClung was, what took the dunk contest to that next level is these stars being in it. Like the guys that drop 28, 29 a night, they were in the dunk contest, and it's like, whoa. Or not even just people that drop that. If you play point guard, maybe you drop 20 a game back in the day, but we know you could go for 50 on any given night. You was that level player. And it's some creative dunkers out there. Like I feel like anybody that would have got in it with Zach LaVine that first year was gonna lose, because he was doing dunks from the free throw line, like windmills and all kinds of crazy stuff. So but that wouldn't even be like LeBron would have been far past it by that point if he would have done it when he was supposed to. Ja Morant, phenomenal two-leg dunker, Now I feel like DRose is another one that we would have loved to seen in it. But DRose, you have to think, DRose started getting injured earlier in his career. He might have even got in one had he not had the serious injuries he had. You see what I'm saying? He might have got in it like his 4th or 5th year. So DRose isn't somebody I can completely hold it against because we don't know like what he would have had in store. Now that one year I could say I'm glad LeBron didn't get in it is when they had to spin the wheel. Then you had to try to create or recreate the dunk that somebody in the past did. That takes away the creativity. So I wasn't mad about him not participating in that year, but he teased at it several times and never got in. And could you imagine? Now I know LeBron is a businessman, and so he wants to see more than just, whatever the winner get, the little winner pot. LeBron wants it to be business, and he wants to probably every time that footage is reshown or relicensed or whatever, he wants in, so he might be looking at it from a perspective we're not even thinking about as fans. But I think just from a basketball purist standpoint, not participating in not one dunk contest with those legs that he had. I mean, he was in the high school dunk contest. So some people was like, man, is he scared he's going to lose, or does he not like to compete? And others was like, well, nah, this goes back to the rookie year. I mean, the man got his reasons for doing whatever for whatever reason he didn't do it. But I can agree with what Stephen A's initial point was, that LeBron helped ruin the dunk contest. Because, you had Dwight Howard and them at their peak, a star player going to the finals and everything eventually. You had him when he was younger, getting in the dunk contest and throwing down the Superman dunk and everything. But the top high flyers that we see night in and night out that are star players. Levine scores 20 a night, but imagine seeing like you waiting after Steph Curry and them in the 3-point contest. Next up is LeBron, well, he wouldn't have been in one with Ja Morant, but you know what I'm saying. You got a LeBron or a Ja Morant level athlete, that is the star player starting in the All-Star game, participating in a dunk contest. It's different when the actual All-Stars are there dunking, or some of them. All of them ain't got to be All-Stars, but you have the cream of the crop players that just so happen to have elite athleticism and creativity in the contest. That's what can save the dunk contest right there. And while we on that, I just got one more thing to add to that. I would also like to see them go back to like 6 or 8 dunkers and get rid of some of that other stuff. Get your stars back in the dunk contest somehow, and get rid of the skills challenge. And we don't care. I ain't gonna speak for all of y'all. I don't care about that. Give me my 3-point shootout. Give me the dunk contest. And if you can't get like a one-on-one tournament, nobody wants to get embarrassed in the social media era though and become a meme. It's just too soft right now as far as that's going. And so, you'll never have nothing like that. Maybe it's something else that they could incorporate with the little skills challenge and all that. That's dry. And the All-Star game, these guys don't want to compete. They're too friendly with each other, so I don't like that either. The whole weekend is kind of trash now. I thought back to the game with Penny Hardaway and all those guys in it. I was just watching that on tape a few weeks ago, and it's not even close, man. I used to record them every year, and it's just not close as far as how competitive the games get. The fact that we had to deviate from East and West so these guys can try to compete, the fact we got to go through all these hoops for them to compete, I have a problem with. And man, this is gonna probably be my longest video because I'm going off on a tangent at this point. But what I will say is, I know a lot of y'all know, but some may not. It's the way their contracts are stitched together. A lot of times making a first team, second team, third team, that's what makes you eligible for the Supermax, all NBA teams. And another incentive-based thing in your contract is making the All-Star game, or making an All-Star game. That's the other thing. And so you'll see these guys all through the regular season. That's why you have so many ball-dominant players for so many reasons. Luka Doncic is not a point guard, guys. I'm tired of hearing that. He is a ball-dominant wing that tries to get stats to make these all NBA teams. So for a perfect example, Jalen Brunson probably played point guard better than anybody did in the whole NBA for the first half of the season. And Julius Randle made the All-Star game over him. If you watch that team, you clearly, unequivocally know that Jalen Brunson is the best player and the most important player on that team. But he's not a stat stuffer. He plays basketball the right way, so he didn't make the team. Their second best player did. And so you got that. And I don't mean to keep going at Luka. They all do it. When I say that about Luka Doncic, about stuff and stats, Trae Young is a stat stuffer guy too. He's a stat padding guy. I mean, he could play, but I'm just saying these numbers are inflated past where they're helping the team win. You can look at the team right now. And when they changed some of those rules about the flopping, where guys were shooting all these free throws, it hurt some of the guys. Trae Young, James Harden being a couple of them, it took their efficiency levels down. So now James Harden has seemed to bounce back a little bit from his, but Trae Young is still struggling to find any consistency from the field. Now, and so I feel like you have a lot of guys just chasing the stats that's going to get them paid. You know what I'm saying? They chasing the stats that's gonna get them paid, and it's not really pure basketball. And I think it's translated over to the All-Star game. Nobody's trying to get hurt, but your contract depends on you making this game. So I feel like, man, I want to see it. Just be done with the All-Star game, or have these guys compete, because I don't like it being tied into their contract and then they get there, they don't compete, because you are the sport that has the guaranteed money. It ain't even like the Pro Bowl. You have the guaranteed dollars in your contract. So I don't necessarily want to hear anything about this is why you can't compete, yada yada yada. No, you need to compete. You guaranteed the money you getting from this contract. So I guess some of the guys that hadn't got paid yet, and they've made the All-Star game before their contract negotiations come up, they don't want to get hurt. But man, you got 82 more games to get hurt. Nobody's going that hard in the All-Star game, but play hard, and when it gets down the stretch, lock up. Don't let people just go down Main Street and lay it up. That's ugly basketball, man. And I'm just sick. I know I went off on a tangent, but I'm just sick of the non-competing. It's annoying, man. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.